The monitor spiked. Rowan was already on his feet before the second alarm sounded. The chair scraped hard against the floor as he crossed the room in 2 steps, his hand closing around hers before the nurse could reach the bed. Nia. Her fingers moved again, small, weak, but real. Nia, look at me. Her lashes fluttered, uneven, like her body hadn't decided if it was ready to come back. The machine steadied, then surged again as her breathing shifted. A doctor rushed in, voices rising around them, instructions thrown quickly, efficiently. Sir, I need you to step back. No, sir, I'm not moving. His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The room adjusted around it. Nia's eyes opened. Not fully, not clearly, but enough. Her gaze moved without focus at first, drifting past the lights, the ceiling, the unfamiliar shapes. Then it landed on him, and stayed. Rowan didn't speak immediately. For a moment he just watched her. Really watched her. Like he needed to confirm she wasn't about to disappear again. You're in a hospital, he said finally, low, controlled. You're stable. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came. Her throat moved, dry, strained. The doctor stepped in, checking her vitals, adjusting something on the monitor. You were in an accident, the doctor added. You've been unconscious for 2 days. 2 days. Her eyes flickered again, this time sharper. Awareness came back in pieces, and with it, confusion. Then something else. Fear. Her gaze shifted back to Rowan. What happened? Her voice was barely there. Fragile. Rowan held her eyes. An accident. Silence. It stretched too long. Nia blinked slowly, like she was trying to process the words, but something in her expression tightened. That's not true. The room stilled for a second. Rowan didn't react immediately, but his grip on her hand didn't loosen either. You need to rest. I need you to answer me. Her voice was still weak, but the edge was there. The same one she used when she refused to back down. Even now, Rowan's gaze didn't shift. You're not in a position to question anything right now. Her fingers twitched in his grip. Then when? A pause. When do I get to know why I almost died? The doctor glanced between them, sensing something he wasn't supposed to be part of. I think we should. Give us a moment, Rowan said, without looking away from her. The doctor hesitated, then nodded and stepped out, pulling the nurse with him. The door closed softly behind them. Silence settled in. Nia's eyes stayed locked on his. You're lying. Rowan exhaled once, slow, controlled. You were hit by a car. That's not what I asked. Her voice shook slightly, but she didn't break eye contact. Who did it? Rowan didn't answer. And that was the answer. Her chest rose unevenly as realization started to settle in. This wasn't random. No. The word came out before he could stop it. Nia's gaze sharpened, despite the exhaustion dragging at her. So you know. Another pause. Rowan leaned slightly closer, his voice lowering. You're safer not knowing. Her expression changed instantly. Something colder, sharper. That's not your decision. It is when it involves my world. And I'm in your world now? The question landed harder than anything else. Rowan didn't respond immediately. Nia let out a quiet breath, her head shifting slightly against the pillow. That's what I thought. Her hand pulled weakly against his. Let go. Rowan didn't. Nia, let go. This time, there was no hesitation in her voice. Weak, yes, but clear. After a second, he released her. Her hand fell back against the bed, and she turned her head away from him, staring at the opposite wall. You don't get to decide what I can handle, she said quietly. Rowan straightened slightly, his jaw tightening. You almost died. And you think lying to me fixes that? I'm not lying. You're withholding. Silence. That's worse. The words settled between them, heavy. Rowan stepped back slightly, creating space that hadn't existed before. You need to recover. I need the truth. You'll get it when it's necessary. Her head turned back toward him, slow, deliberate. It's already necessary. Another pause. Rowan studied her for a long second, like he was weighing something. Then, no. Simple. Final. Nia stared at him. Then she let out a soft, humorless breath. Of course. Her eyes closed briefly, not from exhaustion this time, but frustration. Then we're done here. Rowan didn't move. You don't mean that. Her eyes opened again, sharp. I do. You're injured. I'm aware. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking very clearly. Her voice dropped slightly. You're dangerous. The words didn't come out loud. But they didn't need to. Rowan's gaze darkened slightly. And yet you're still here. I didn't choose that. You did when you signed that contract. That landed. Nia's lips pressed together, but she didn't look away. That contract didn't include attempted murder. No. It didn't include secrets that could get me killed. Rowan stepped closer again, slower this time. And it didn't include you being targeted. Her breath caught slightly. But you were. Silence. And now, he continued, his voice lowering. You're not walking away from this without understanding what that means. Nia held his gaze, her pulse uneven. I don't need your protection. You do. I don't. You almost died. And whose fault is that? The question hit harder than anything else she'd said. Rowan didn't answer, because he didn't have one that would fix it. Nia looked at him for a long second, then shook her head slightly. That's what I thought. She turned away again. Leave. Rowan didn't move. I'm not repeating myself. Another pause. Then, I'll be outside. He turned and walked toward the door, his movements controlled, precise. He stopped just before stepping out. You're not leaving this hospital without me. Nia didn't respond. The door closed behind him with a quiet click. And for the first time since she woke up, she let her breath shake. Rowan didn't go far. He stood in the hallway, his gaze fixed on nothing in particular, his thoughts moving faster than he allowed anything else to. His assistant approached carefully. She's awake. Yes. And, a pause. She knows it wasn't an accident. The assistant nodded once. The driver's been processed. No loose ends there. Good. A beat. And Lyra? Another pause. Still in the city. Rowan's expression didn't change. Keep her there. Yes, sir. And find out who helped her. The assistant hesitated. We're still tracing. Faster. The word was quiet, but it cut clean. Yes, sir. Rowan's gaze shifted slightly, toward the closed door behind him. She asked who did it. And what did you say? That she's safer not knowing. The assistant didn't respond immediately. That won't hold. I'm aware. Another pause. What's the next step? Rowan's expression hardened slightly. I remove the threat. And Nia. His gaze stayed on the door. She stays where I can see her. Inside the room, Nia stared at the ceiling. Her body hurt. Every movement reminded her of it. But that wasn't what kept her awake. It was him. The way he spoke. The way he didn't answer. The way he looked at her like he was already making decisions she hadn't agreed to. Her fingers curled slightly against the sheet. This isn't over, she whispered to herself. And deep down, she knew it was just beginning. Rowan re-entered before she could decide whether she wanted him to or not. The door opened quietly, but she felt it immediately. That presence. Controlled. Heavy. Unavoidable. She didn't look at him this time. You didn't stay gone long. I didn't intend to. Her gaze stayed on the ceiling. Of course not. A pause. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Closing the distance again. You should be resting. I tried, she replied evenly. It's difficult when I don't know if someone's trying to kill me. Rowan stopped beside the bed. They won't try again. Nia let out a quiet breath. You say that like you're certain. I am. And that's supposed to make me feel better? It should. She turned her head slightly, finally looking at him. It doesn't. Silence settled again. Rowan didn't move away this time. If anything, he seemed more anchored than before, like he'd decided distance wasn't necessary anymore. That's unfortunate. Her brows pulled together slightly. That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? The truth. You already know it. I know part of it, she corrected. Not enough. Another pause. Rowan studied her carefully. You're not as fragile as you look right now. And you're not as honest as you think you are. That landed. For a second, neither of them spoke. Then Rowan reached for the chair again, pulling it closer to the bed and sitting down without asking. That was new. Nia noticed. You're not leaving. No. You think I'm going to disappear? I think you'll try. Her lips pressed together. You don't trust me. I don't trust the situation. That's not what I asked. Rowan leaned back slightly, his gaze still fixed on her. Trust isn't relevant right now. It is to me. Then that's your problem. The words were calm. Too calm. Nia stared at him, something shifting behind her eyes. You don't get to decide that. I already did. Silence. Thicker this time. You don't control everything. I control what matters. And I matter? The question slipped out before she could stop it. Rowan didn't answer immediately, but his gaze didn't move either. That depends. Her chest tightened slightly. On what? On whether you stay. There it was. Clear. Direct. Nia held his gaze, her pulse uneven. You're not asking. No. You're telling. Yes. She let out a slow breath, shaking her head slightly. You're unbelievable. I've been told. That wasn't a compliment. I didn't take it as one. Another pause. Then, who is she? The question cut through everything. Rowan didn't react immediately, but something in his expression shifted, subtle. But there. You already know it's a she. I can tell. How? Because you're too controlled for this to be random. Silence. And because you didn't deny it. Rowan leaned forward slightly, resting his forearms on his knees. You're making assumptions. I'm making observations. That's not the same thing. It is when I'm right. Another pause. Then, Lyra Voss. The name landed between them like something heavy. Nia didn't react outwardly, but her fingers tightened slightly against the sheet. And she tried to kill me. Yes. No hesitation. No deflection. Just the truth. Nia's breath caught slightly. And you're telling me this now because, what? You trust me? No. Then why? Because you were going to find out anyway. That honesty hit differently. Who is she to you? Rowan's gaze didn't shift. That's not relevant. It is if she's trying to kill me. She's trying to get to me. And I'm just what? Collateral damage? No. The word came faster this time. Nia's eyes narrowed slightly. Then what am I? Another pause. Longer. He thinks I matter, she realized internally. But she needed to hear it. Rowan leaned back slightly again, his jaw tightening just enough to notice. You're involved. That's not an answer. It's the one you're getting. Nia stared at him, then let out a soft, frustrated breath. You're impossible. And yet you're still here. I don't have a choice. You do. Do I? Her voice dropped slightly. Because from where I'm standing, every option leads back to you. Silence. Rowan didn't deny it. Didn't soften it either. That's because you're already in. Her stomach tightened slightly at that. This isn't what I agreed to. It became that the moment you were targeted. And what happens now? Rowan stood slowly, his movements controlled. Now I make sure it doesn't happen again. And how exactly do you plan to do that? He looked at her. Really looked at her. In ways you don't need to be involved in. That's not how this works. It is now. Her pulse spiked slightly. You don't get to rewrite the rules. I already have. And I'm just supposed to accept that? Yes. She let out a quiet, disbelieving laugh. That's not going to happen. Rowan stepped closer again, just slightly. It doesn't need to. Then what does? You staying alive. The words were quiet, but they hit hard. Nia held his gaze, something shifting again behind her eyes. You think I can't handle this? I think you shouldn't have to. That's not your decision. It became my responsibility. She shook her head. No, that's not how responsibility works. It is when it's mine. Silence. Sharp. Tight. You're not listening to me. I am. Then hear this clearly. Her voice steadied, despite everything. I don't want your protection. Rowan didn't respond immediately. Then, you already have it. Her chest tightened again. That's not consent. It doesn't need to be. That did it. Something in her expression shifted completely. Cold. Controlled. You don't get to decide that for me. I just did. And if I say no? Rowan held her gaze. Then you're saying it from a hospital bed after someone tried to kill you. The words landed exactly where he intended them to. Nia went still. Because he wasn't wrong. And she hated that he wasn't wrong. You don't fight fair. I don't fight to lose. Another pause. Then Nia turned her head away again. This isn't over. No. Rowan's voice was calm. It's not. Silence settled again. But this time it felt different. Less uncertain. More inevitable. After a moment, Rowan stepped back toward the door. You're being discharged tomorrow. Nia frowned slightly, turning her head back. That's fast. You're stable. And where exactly am I going? Rowan didn't hesitate. Home. Her gaze sharpened. That's not happening. It is. No. Yes. I'm not going back there. You don't have another option. I'll find one. You won't. Her pulse kicked again. You're very confident. I'm very certain. And if I refuse? Rowan paused at the door, his hand resting lightly against it. Then I make sure you don't have to. Her brows pulled together. That doesn't even make sense. It will. And with that, he walked out, leaving her with more questions than answers. Again. The next morning came too quickly. Nia was already awake when the nurse entered. You're being discharged today, she said with a small smile. That's a good sign. Nia nodded slightly. Is it? The nurse hesitated. Well, physically, yes. That was the problem. Physically, she was fine. Everything else? Not even close. By the time Rowan walked in, she was already dressed, bag packed, standing, ready. He stopped when he saw her. You're not supposed to be on your feet yet. I'm managing. That's not the same thing. It's enough. Their eyes met. Same tension. Same unresolved conflict. You're leaving with me. Nia shook her head immediately. No. Rowan stepped further into the room, closing the door behind him. That's not a request. It's not an option. It is. It's not. Silence. Then, I'm not going back to that house. Rowan's gaze sharpened slightly. You don't have another location secured. I'll get one. When? Today. No. The word was immediate. Final. Nia stared at him. You don't get to say that. I just did. Her grip tightened on the strap of her bag. You're not listening to me. I am. Then understand this. Her voice steadied again. I'm not staying somewhere I could be targeted again. Rowan stepped closer. You won't be. You can't guarantee that. I can. You couldn't before. That landed. Hard. Rowan didn't respond immediately, but something in his expression shifted again. Tighter this time. More controlled. More dangerous. That won't happen again. You don't know that. I do. How? A pause. Then, because I won't let it. The way he said it, not loud, not aggressive, just certain. Nia felt it, and that scared her more than anything else. You're not in control of everything. No. He stepped closer again. But I am in control of what happens next. Silence. Her pulse picked up again, because she believed him, and that was the problem. The hallway felt too open. Nia stepped out first, her pace steady despite the pull in her side. Every step reminded her she wasn't fully recovered. But she refused to slow down. Rowan followed, not beside her, behind her, close enough that she could feel it without turning. You don't need to follow me. I do. I'm not going to collapse. That's not what I'm concerned about. She stopped walking, turned. And what exactly are you concerned about? Rowan didn't hesitate. You leaving. Her brows pulled together. I just told you I'm not going back with you. And I told you that's not an option. Silence. People moved around them. Doctors, nurses, voices, but none of it mattered. The space between them had narrowed again, tight and controlled. You can't force me. I don't need to. Then stop acting like you can. Rowan stepped closer. Just one step. Enough. You're still here. The words were quiet, but they hit. Nia's breath caught slightly. Because I'm trying to understand what's going on. And you think leaving helps with that? Yes. No. Her jaw tightened. You don't get to decide that for me. I already have. That tone again. Final. Certain. Dangerous. Nia looked at him for a long second, then shook her head slightly. You really believe that, don't you? I don't deal in belief. Then what do you deal in? Outcomes. And I'm just what? One of them. No. The word came fast. Too fast. Nia noticed. Then what am I? Silence. Rowan held her gaze, something unreadable settling behind his eyes. You're involved. That's not enough. It has to be. For you. For now. Another pause. Then, I'm leaving. She turned again and started walking. This time faster. This time more intentional. And this time, Rowan didn't stop her. Not immediately. He let her reach the elevator. Let her press the button. Let the doors slide open. Let her step inside. Then he moved. Fast. His hand caught the door before it could close, stepping in without asking, without hesitation. The doors shut behind them. The space shrank instantly. Too small. Too quiet. Too close. Nia exhaled slowly, keeping her eyes forward. You don't listen. I do. No, you don't. The elevator started moving. You hear what you want to hear. That's not accurate. It is. She finally turned, looking at him directly. I said I'm leaving. And I heard you. Then why are you still here? Rowan leaned slightly against the wall, his gaze steady. Because you're not. The words settled in the confined space. Nia stared at him. You don't know that. I do. How? Because if you were going to leave, you wouldn't still be talking to me. That hit harder than she expected. Her lips parted slightly, then closed again. Rowan watched her carefully. You would have walked away already. Silence. And you didn't. Her pulse picked up. Because he was right. And she hated that he was right. You're overanalyzing. I don't do that. You just did. No. He straightened slightly. I observed. Another pause. The elevator slowed. Nia turned back toward the doors. I'm still leaving. Try. The doors opened. She stepped out. This time she didn't stop. Didn't look back. Didn't slow down. She walked straight through the lobby, past the reception, toward the exit. The sunlight hit her immediately. Too bright. Too real. Too exposed. Her steps faltered for just a second. Just one. Then she kept going. Rowan followed. Still not beside her. Still just behind. Watching. Waiting. The street stretched out ahead of her. Busy. Loud. Alive. Too alive. Her grip tightened on her bag. She stepped off the curb and froze. Not visibly, but inside. Everything stopped. A black car passed by. Too fast. Too close. Her breath caught. Her chest tightened instantly, her body reacting before her mind could catch up. Not an accident. That thought came back fast. Sharp. Unavoidable. Her steps slowed. Then stopped. Rowan saw it. Of course he did. He moved closer this time. Close enough that she could feel the shift in the air. You're hesitating. I'm not. You are. I'm not. Her voice came out tighter than she intended. Rowan's gaze moved past her briefly, scanning the street. Then back to her. You're not ready. Nia shook her head. I don't need to be ready. You do. I don't. You almost died. And I'm still here. That's not the point. It is to me. Silence. Then, look at me. She didn't. I'm serious. I heard you. Then do it. A beat. Then slowly, she turned. Her eyes met his. And this time, There was no distance, no buffer, no control, just everything they'd been avoiding. You're scared. The words were quiet, not accusing, not mocking, just true. Nia's jaw tightened. I'm not. You are. I'm not. You hesitated. I'm injured. That's not why. Silence. Her chest rose unevenly. Stop. I'm not wrong. Stop. Rowan stepped closer again. You don't trust that it won't happen again. And you do. Yes. How? Because I won't let it. That certainty again. That same dangerous calm. Nia stared at him. You can't control everything. I don't need to. Then what do you need? You. The word slipped out before he could stop it. Silence. Immediate. Heavy. Nia's breath caught. Rowan didn't move. Didn't take it back. Didn't soften it. You need me? Her voice was quieter now. Different. I need you where I can see you. That clarified it. And somehow made it worse. I'm not something you keep. No. Then stop acting like I am. I'm acting like you're a target. And that gives you the right to control where I go? It gives me the responsibility to make sure you're safe. That's not the same thing. It is when it's this serious. Another pause. Then, I'm not going with you. Her voice was steady now. Clear. Final. Rowan held her gaze. Longer than necessary. Then, fine. The word came out calm. Too calm. Nia blinked slightly. You're agreeing? Yes. That didn't feel right. At all. And you're just going to let me walk away? I didn't say that. Her brows pulled together. Then what are you saying? Rowan stepped back slightly. Just enough to create space. You can leave. A pause. But you won't stay gone. Silence. And when you come back, I'm not coming back. You will. I won't. You will. That certainty again. Unshaken. Unmoved. Nia shook her head. You don't know me as well as you think you do. I know enough. No, you don't. Then prove it. The challenge landed. Sharp. Direct. Nia held his gaze. Then, watch me. She turned. And this time, she walked away. No hesitation. No pause. No looking back. Rowan didn't follow. Didn't call her name. Didn't stop her. He just stood there, watching, until she disappeared into the crowd. 10 minutes later, she was still walking. Faster now. More intentional. Her heart hadn't slowed down. Her thoughts hadn't settled. Everything felt too loud. Too exposed. Too real. She turned a corner. Then another. Then stopped. Her breath came out uneven. Her grip tightened on her bag. She looked around. Different street. Different people. Different space. And yet, it didn't feel different. Felt the same. The same awareness. The same tension. The same sense that something, someone, was watching. Her pulse spiked. She turned quickly. Nothing. Just people. Just movement. Just noise. But it didn't go away. That feeling stayed. Sharp. Uncomfortable. Real. Her phone buzzed. She flinched slightly before pulling it out. Unknown number. Again. Her chest tightened. For a second, she almost didn't answer. Then, she did. Hello. Silence. Not empty. Breathing. Faint. Measured. Her grip tightened. Who is this? Nothing. Then, a soft click. The line went dead. Nia stared at the screen. Her heart racing. Her thoughts catching up all at once. This wasn't over. Not even close. She looked around again. The street didn't feel safe anymore. It didn't feel normal. It didn't feel like somewhere she could just exist. Her mind went back. To the car. To the impact. To Rowan's voice. You won't be targeted again. Her breath shook slightly. Because now, she wasn't sure if she believed that. Or if she needed to. Her phone buzzed again. This time, a message. No number. No name. Just words. You shouldn't have left. Her chest tightened instantly. Her eyes scanned the street again. Faster. Sharper. Nothing. No one obvious. No one watching. At least not visibly. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Then, Another message. You're easier to reach now. That did it. Fear hit fully this time. Real. Undeniable. Her breathing picked up. Her thoughts moved fast. Too fast. And before she could stop herself, she turned. Make sure you subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories right now. Besties, make sure you subscribe, like and share. It helps the channel more than you know. Rowan was exactly where she left him. Rowan was exactly where she left him. Like he knew. Like he never expected anything different. Nia didn't slow down this time. Her steps were faster, sharper, almost urgent as she closed the distance between them. Her breathing hadn't settled. Her pulse still racing from the messages. From the feeling that hadn't left her since she stepped out alone. Rowan saw it immediately. Of course he did. You came back. No surprise in his voice. Just quiet certainty. Nia stopped in front of him, her chest rising unevenly. Don't what? Don't act like you expected this. I did. Her jaw tightened. You don't get to be right about everything. I don't need to be right about everything. Just this. Yes. Silence. Nia held his gaze, frustration and something else mixing behind her eyes. I got a call. Rowan's expression didn't change, but something in his posture did. Subtle. Sharper. Unknown number. Did they speak? No. What did they want? They wanted me to know they're watching. That landed. Hard. Rowan's gaze shifted briefly, scanning the street again. Slower this time. More deliberate. Show me. Nia handed him the phone without hesitation this time. That alone said enough. Rowan read the messages once. Then again. His jaw tightened slightly. They're pushing. For what? A reaction. Well, they got one. Rowan handed the phone back. You shouldn't have left. Nia let out a sharp breath. You don't get to say that. I just did. And I came back, didn't I? Yes. Not because you were right. Then why? A pause. Then, because this isn't something I can handle alone. The admission was quiet, but it changed everything. Rowan held her gaze for a long second. No, he said finally. It's not. Silence. Then Nia crossed her arms slightly, grounding herself. So what now? Rowan didn't hesitate. You come with me. She exhaled slowly. That's still not something I'm agreeing to easily. You don't have to agree easily. And if I don't agree at all? He stepped closer. You already did. Her brows pulled together. When you came back. That hit. Again. Nia looked away briefly, then back at him. This doesn't mean I trust you. I didn't say it did. This doesn't mean I'm okay with any of this. You don't have to be. Then what does it mean? Rowan held her gaze. It means you understand the situation. Silence. And you're choosing to survive it. That settled differently. Nia swallowed slightly, then nodded once. Fine. The word came out controlled. Deliberate. But we do this my way too. Rowan's eyes narrowed slightly. Explain. No secrets that put me at risk. That's not always possible. Then make it possible. A pause. Then, I'll tell you what you need to know. That's not enough. It is for now. Nia held his gaze, weighing it. Then, for now. Rowan nodded once. Good. Another pause. Then, let's go. The drive was quiet. Too quiet. Nia sat in the passenger seat, her gaze fixed outside, watching the city pass by in blurred motion. Every car that moved too fast made her shoulders tense. Every reflection in the glass felt like something to track. Rowan noticed all of it. He didn't comment, didn't reassure, didn't soften anything. He just drove, controlled, focused, present. You've done this before. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Rowan didn't look at her. Yes. Silence. How many times? Enough. That's not an answer. It's the one you're getting. Nia exhaled slowly. Do you always do this? Do what? Decide what people need to know and just stop there? Yes. That's exhausting. It's effective. For who? For the outcome. She turned her head slightly, looking at him now. And what about the people involved in that outcome? Another pause. They stay alive. That's not the same thing as being okay. No. He finally glanced at her. But it's better than the alternative. Silence settled again. This time heavier. Because she couldn't argue with that. When they arrived, the house didn't feel the same. Not to her. Everything looked the same. Nothing felt the same. Nia stepped inside slowly, her senses sharper now, her awareness heightened in a way it hadn't been before. Rowan closed the door behind them. You'll stay here. She turned slightly. I don't like being told what to do. You'll get used to it. That's not happening. We'll see. She let out a quiet breath. This isn't permanent. No. His voice was calm. It's not. But something about the way he said it didn't sound temporary. That night, sleep didn't come easily. Nia lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind replaying everything. The messages, the call, the way Rowan didn't hesitate, the way he always seemed one step ahead, and the way she still didn't know where she stood in all of it. Her phone buzzed again. She froze, slowly reached for it. Another message. No number. No name. You went back to him. Her chest tightened instantly. Another message followed. That won't save you. Her breath caught. Then, one more. It just makes this more interesting. Nia sat up immediately, her pulse racing. This wasn't just a threat anymore. This was a game. And she was in the middle of it. Down the hall, Rowan's phone buzzed. He picked it up without hesitation. A single message from his assistant. We found the leak. Rowan's expression didn't change, but his eyes did. Good, he replied. A pause. Then, handle it. He set the phone down slowly, his gaze shifting toward the direction of Nia's room. This ends now. But deep down, he knew it didn't. Not yet. Not even close. If you made it this far, you already know this story is just getting started. Because what's coming next? It's not just about survival anymore. It's about trust, betrayal, and choosing sides when there's no safe option left. So if you want to see what happens when everything finally breaks, make sure you subscribe to Untold Afro-Korean Stories right now. Drop a comment and tell me, do you trust Rowan? Or do you think Nia should run? And don't forget to hit that like button, because part 3 is where everything changes.